Are you a Transformers fan? Then consider this an upgrade. Why? Because I'll be talking about the 2007 show Transformers Animated, a show that I didn't like originally, but it has since grown on me, and its legacy among TF fans everywhere has become solidified. So, spoiler warnings, because I will be discussing some events that happen in the show, but for now, my name is Jacob Airy. Welcome to Studio Jake and the new edition of Comics, Cartoons, and Canon. Thank you so much for watching today. I hope you like, share, and subscribe. Now, let's dive into it. Transformers Animated aired from 2007 to 2009 on the Cartoon Network. It also had reruns on Hub, and it premiered in Nickelodeon in the United Kingdom. And how I first really got into it was through the streaming service Tubi. That's right. When this show first aired in 2007, I was a young, strapping 19-year-old, and I wasn't really into it. I had just come off of the Unicron trilogy as far as being a Transformers fan. The Bayverse was kind of starting to kick into gear, but I looked at this show and I didn't really care for it. I didn't even finish the first season. The Decepticons, after all, in the first season at least, only appear in the pilot, with some small appearances sprinkled in the first season, but they were very rarely seen. However, my best friend, who is my fellow Transformers fan, he insisted that I give it another chance some years later. Well, so I decided to give Transformers Animated another shot. And lo and behold, I actually started to get into it. That really shocked me and surprised me. For those of you who don't know, the core premise of it is a small crew of Autobots led by a young Optimus Prime, not the wise Optimus Prime we've come to know from Transformers Generation 1. This is a young Optimus Prime who is not as experienced as we're used to him being. He and a group of Autobots, which include Bumblebee, Ratchet, Prowl, and Bulkhead, they crash in Detroit right in Lake Erie. Now, when they wake up, when they come out of stasis lock, Detroit has become like this huge technological center thanks to a particularly interesting scientist named Dr. Sundak and his genius daughter, Sari. The Autobots become friends with Dr. Sundak, and they end up becoming sort of like superheroes in Detroit. And they end up fighting like colorful human villains like the Angry Archer and Meltdown. It was very interesting. That is what originally turned me off to the series. But again, I continued with the show, and I was like, hey, this is actually pretty interesting. I'm seeing the Autobots take on other people besides the Decepticons. Now, you soon realize it is actually the head of Megatron that Dr. Sundak is used to create his technology. That's why the world is so advanced these days, is because he was taking the tech from none other than Megatron. And this was a very interesting setup, and it leads directly into season 2 when they discover the Allspark, which you find out Sari Sundak can access because she's not actually a human, she's a pretender. Now, with this, the Elite Guard come, and this is where you find the Optimus Prime connection. Prime is a rank. It's not actually his name. His name is just Optimus, but Prime is his rank. And with the arrival of Sentinel Prime, Jazz, who became my favorite character in the series, and the leader of the Autobots, who happens to be Ultra Magnus, things change, and that's when the escalation with the Decepticons continues with Megatron and Starscream. Fun fact about Starscream, he's actually voiced by Tom Kenny. Yes, the voice of SpongeBob. So into season 2 and 3, it's more about stopping the Decepticons from getting the Allspark, and they have clashes with a variety of Decepticons. You soon find out that one of Optimus and Sentinel Prime's colleagues, who is Long Arm Prime, is actually Shockwave in disguise. And not only that, you find that there's this really interesting connection between RC and Ratchet. You also get introduced to new characters. For instance, Hot Rod, who is voiced by the original Transformers, the movie actor Judd Nelson. He returns to voice the character. And besides the Transformers Energon iteration of Rodimus, this is actually my favorite version of Hot Rod. Instead of just making him like a basic car, he also has this really cool archery ability. He is only in this one episode, but my understanding is had it entered a fourth season, he would have grown into a more main character with everything that happens at the end of season 3. I really appreciate how this show really developed its series. For one thing, Optimus Prime and Sentinel Prime, instead of Sentinel Prime being sort of Optimus Prime's mentor, he and Optimus Prime are antagonistic. And the reason is because Elita 1, who was also a member of the Elite Guard, Optimus Prime made the decision to leave her behind after a dangerous mission on some sort of spider planet. She becomes Black Arachnia because of a malfunction that happens on the planet, and she sides with the Decepticons and eventually becomes sort of a leader of the Insecticons. It is really crazy premise, and I really loved it. It was something that kept me hooked and attached to it. I really got to know the characters. I really got to connect with them. And like I said, Jazz became my favorite character. Jazz is in my top 10 favorite Autobots. Maybe one day I'll do a video about my top 10 favorite Autobots and why. But I really liked it and how it worked out. And like I said, the characters really make up why this series is so interesting. For one thing, Optimus Prime is actually voiced by David Kaye, who of course voiced Megatron in Beast Wars and Beast Machines. You have Bumper Robinson. He voices Bumblebee. You might remember Bumper Robinson from an animated Justice League film. Prowl is voiced by Jeff Bennett, who is just a legend. He was the professor in the Powerpuff Girls. Bulkhead is voiced by Bill Fagerbaki, and I really like this. I was hoping that Ironhide would be like the tough guy character, but I thought that Bill did a great job with the voice of Bulkhead. He really brought him as the gentle giant sort of character. Corey Burton, of course, is fantastic as Ratchet. Corey Burton is really prominent voice actor in this series. He also voices Megatron. Corey Burton has a really good menacing voice, and I really think that he did great as Megatron. So you've got David Kaye, who used to voice Megatron, is Optimus, and you've got Corey Burton, a veteran in the industry in as far as voice acting goes, as Megatron, and the two of them really do well. And as the series progressed, we go from sort of a villain of the week format to an overarching battle with Megatron to try to stop them from getting the Allspark. And then season 3 transitions to another overarching story arc where they're trying to prevent the destruction of both the Earth and Cybertron, because Megatron has decided if he can't have any of it, then no one can. And this series just kept ramping up the stakes. Now, it's not just the Decepticons who grow the ranks. I mentioned that the Autobots have the introduction of Ultra Magnus, Jazz, and Sentinel Prime. We also see other characters like Omega Supreme and RC. We see that Alpha Trion is a character in this. We don't know if he has a connection to Optimus Prime. That's never explained. Perceptor also has a minor role as a member of the Cybertronian Council. It is really cool to see how this goes out. Now, if I was to pick my favorite episode, I think it is gotta be the Elite Guard. That is the episode that brings in the Autobots and it starts off the battle with the Decepticons. And in my opinion, that's when the show really gets good. So I've been bragging about this show for so long. I've said what my favorite episode is. I mentioned the story arcs, the characters, the voice acting. As a show, I have completely changed my mind. Like I said, when it first premiered in 2007, I was completely uninterested, had no desire to watch it whatsoever. I watched the pilot, maybe a few other episodes, and said, nope, I'm done. I gave it a second chance, and I'm so glad I did, because Transformers Animated is definitely going after younger kids, but it allowed itself to grow with its audience. So you go from kind of a silly villain of the week format to this is a full-on catastrophe with the return of the Decepticons. And it still holds up as far as the animation style. Yeah, it's a little bit more fluid than you see, because Transformers, they tend to be more, blocky, but that's because they're robots in disguise, right? They turn into vehicles. Well, in this case, it's more fluid. They look more lean. I think that really works out. They do incredible with that. Like I said, the voice acting is incredible. There's neat character development as well. That was always a problem with Generation 1. Outside of the main characters like Optimus Prime or Ironhide, you don't really get a whole lot of character development, but this show gave their main characters at least really good backgrounds and show how they changed over time, why they were the way they were. Personally, I think that it is a good show that holds up to this day. I think fans can enjoy it, and it is the perfect topic of comics, cartoons, and canon for that reason. So let me open the floor to you. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you enjoy Transformers Animated and its version of the characters? Do you think it's a solid series that continues to hold up to this day or not? I would love to hear your thoughts. If you would like to, it's available on DVD. I should know I have the Blu-ray edition of the complete series, again, thanks to my best friend. Hot take, if I was to stack it up against other shows, I would say it's better than some of the Unicron trilogy and Beast Machines for sure, but I would put it below Generation 1, the Aligned Continuity, and of course Car Robots. You all know how much I love Car Robots. Maybe I'll do a video on that one day, but that's kind of my hot take on it. I appreciate you tuning in to the latest edition of Comics, Cartoons, and Canon. It's where I explore comics, cartoons, and the canon surrounding them. I hope that you will like, share, subscribe, and leave me a comment and help me get to 2,500 subscribers. I would really appreciate that. If you want to support me and the channel, head on over to my Substack. You can sign up for a subscription there. You can also purchase my books there, and different tiers unlock different prizes. So definitely check that out. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.
'Cause I've been living life right like I could just die.